Hi everyone, we are back at Yellow Creek State Park. We just finished a trip to Allegheny Islands State Park. We kayaked out to the island. So if you haven't seen that video, look for that. But we are back at Yellow Creek State Park, which is where we're staying. We stayed there last night and tonight. And we're parked on Black Hawk Road. We're gonna go hike out to the dam, and I watched another YouTube video, and this is where that person had parked, and it was probably the closest area to park to get to the dam. But we've had a lot of rain in Pennsylvania, so the dam really should be, the water should be moving down there. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, we are coming up to the dam. Gonna get our first glimpse here. But really it's the spillway that I want to see. I can hear the water moving from here. Oh, there's the dam. So we're gonna walk right across and hopefully get to see that spillway. Lots of flowers blooming.
Daisies.
Daisies. Daisies were so cheerful. Yeah, I've quickly fallen in love with this park. I love it. And the little cottage that we stayed in, lakefront, can't beat it. And the restrooms are literally right across from the cottage, so it's convenient. I did bring my own personal little electric heater, and I had that going last night because it was down in the 30s last night, and I think without that we would have been cold. Swallows flying around up here. Wow. I have to get a picture of that. That's great. Getting closer to the spillway. Oh, there's a pretty big boat out there on the lake coming towards us, and I can see down here a cormorant swimming. Beautiful. Oh. What do you think? Turkey vulture? Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that the eagles usually flap their wings more, and the turkey vultures glide. Look at all the swallows flying around. Alright, we're almost at the spillway, and it really sounds like it's moving. First I'll give you a glimpse from up here, but I really want to take this trail down to get a good look. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Beautiful. Look how the swallows. Looks like some loose gravel here, but it doesn't seem too bad. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. Nah, not bad at all. And I've seen other people's videos from down here and pictures that they took, and it's just gorgeous. It's worth the scramble down. It's not too bad. worst is over. And I think there's a trail on the other side of the spillway, like up in there. But I feel like this is a closer view of the spillway. I think that that's called the dam site loop over there. Little muddy. Oh, wow. Yep, totally worth it. Look at that. Wow. Stunning. And we just happened to be here after a lot of rain, so it's really moving. Shut you off to get some pictures. Alright, here's our last glimpse of the spillway. I'm gonna make my way back up. Totally worth it. There's Sue waiting for me up there. All right, we're headed back to the cottage. I thought that swallow was gonna land on my head. Okay, so we are headed back to the car and back to the cottage. So we made it back to our cottage. We're in cottage number 4 here at Yellow Creek State Park. And there's a nice little area to launch our kayaks. I'm spinning you around so you can see that. Oh, there's a little chippy on the rock straight ahead. But there's our cottage straight ahead, and that's where we just launched our kayaks. Over this way, I think it's a little bit quieter over here. Maybe we can get to see some wildlife. Oh, I see a lily, water lily straight ahead. So many birds. I've been picking up so many different birds here. So we did stop here before. I think I mentioned it in another video when we State Park, we headed this way and we stopped here. But it was just a quick stop, and that's when we saw the cottages. And we said we'd like to stay here at some point. Pretty flowers. So it was warmer and sunnier this morning at Allegheny Island State Park. It's clouded up right now, but I think that in around 2 hours it's going to get sunny again. But that's going to be right around the time that we're going to head for dinner. I tend to like to eat early when I'm staying somewhere in a cabin with a fire pit because I like to get back early to do a fire. So we're packing it all in today. Ooh, I wonder how far this goes on. I love these little coves. It's usually where you see wildlife. Ooh, it looks a little murky ahead. Yeah, if you like these little channels like this, when we went to Chapman State Park, that was the longest channel I think we've ever found at a state park. I mean, we kayaked on that for a long time. We love these little channels.
Did you see the baby geese? Gooses?
No. Well, I saw the geese, but I didn't see the babies. Yeah. Let's see how far this goes. We might have a dead end up here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a big log across. Yeah. That's pretty though. Geese with their goslings straight ahead. There we go. Cute. Out for a swim. Yeah, I've really enjoyed my time here at Yellow Creek. Beautiful state park. I would come here again and stay in the cottages. Very clean. I think they were built in 2004. But they're still in really great shape. Very clean. The restrooms are very clean. Great place to stay. And you're really not that far from Pittsburgh. If you wanted to head to Pittsburgh for the day or go to Allegheny Island State Park for the day. That didn't take us long. I think we left, it was probably between 7 and 7:30. And we were back by noon. So. Right, so the wind really picked up, but I'm now kind of right next to the cottages. There's an area with a pavilion that you can rent for picnics. There's a little path, a grassy path that'll take you from the cottages over to this area. There's a pavilion and there's some swings, and I believe there's another boat launch over here, like a public boat launch. Yeah, so the main part of the lake is to the left on the other side of this land. Let's see how far we can go down here. Oh, it's nice and calm, the water here. Doesn't look like this goes on very far. Looks like that might be the end there. We've reached the end. We're headed back on the main part of the lake, which means it's going to get choppy, so I will be back in touch with you when I am back to the launch at our cottage. Alright, and just like that, we are almost back to the cottage. We do have this dock here that you can use. It's for cottage and your usage only. And right on the other side of this is our cabin, our cottage. Yeah, the swallows have been sitting on these branches here. First night they were all huddling together because it was so cold and windy. There's the Canada geese and their goslings. And here we are, back at cottage number 4. There's Sue up there in her chair, relaxing. Not sure what we're gonna do next. Stay tuned. Well, good morning from Yellow Creek State Park again. This is our last morning here. We are leaving, but we wanted to stop at Dragonfly Pond. This is here in the park. And just check it out before we left. We might stop somewhere else here in the park before we leave. It's around a 3.5-hour drive to get home to northeastern Pennsylvania. Alright, sorry about that. Had to change out the battery. But like I was saying, Yellow Creek State Park is just beautiful. The camping cottages on the lake, perfect. Oh wow, look at that reflection on the water. That's stunning. So we're on the south shore of the park right now. The camping cottages are on the north shore. Nice little island out there. I'm guessing this building over here is the Environmental Learning Center, because the parking lot actually says there's a sign, parking for Environmental Learning Center. And then that looks like a personal house over there to the right. So we're doing the loop around the pond, and we just came to this sign. So the pond is actually reserved for persons with disabilities and children 12 years of age and under and their families to fish. That's great. And they have all these little docks with benches all around the pond. Might as well do the full loop around the pond. Oh, this is nice. Stretch our legs before the long ride home. You know it's a nice place when you don't want to leave on the last day. You know, we're sad to leave. Those cottages just had a great view of the lake. Sat in the covered porch with the picnic table. We sat out there every morning with our coffee. It was great. Definitely highly recommend this park. And this is our second time here. It was for us, it was a nice place to stop and stretch our legs when we left Moraine State Park. We stopped here. And then, like I said, we camped here for 2 nights, but we drove to Allegheny Island State Park and kayaked out to the islands. So it's a good place to stay if you're planning to do that. And there's a bunch of other things that are close by. Buttermilk Falls natural area. We stopped there the last time when we were heading home from Moraine State Park. And then the Horseshoe Curve National Landmark, I believe, is not far from here. And those are just some of the things that I know about. I'm sure there's others. I was kind of looking at my Pennsylvania purple lizards map last night. And you see all these other things that you weren't aware of. So definitely a great place to stay. I believe there's only 6 camping cottages and probably around that many yurts. But there is a campground. I don't believe it's part of the state park. It's called Yellow Creek Campground, and it's literally right across the street from the park. So this side is a little grassy, so we're definitely going to have to check for ticks when we get back to the truck. The last place that I hiked in the Poconos, I had a tick on me when I got to the car that I saw and got off. But then when I got home, I found another tick in my sock. And I know that a lot of people are saying that they've found ticks on them recently. And that's in their own yards. So I think it's a very big year for ticks. So just watch out for that. Really the best thing you can do is after hiking, you go home, take a shower. But it's always good to check yourself. I usually have I keep a lint roller in my car, and I just roll that over me a couple of times when I'm done hiking. But you definitely have to be aware. I don't know if it's all the rain that we've gotten the past couple of months, but it seems like a big tick year. Definitely the first person on the trail today. I'm getting hit with all the spider webs. Oh boy. Looks like another view of the pond. Oh, there's that island. And it looks like we're almost back to the parking lot. So it was a nice little jaunt around the pond. Alright, we're back to the start here. We might check out the beach, see what that looks like. Alright, so we made it to our next stop, the beach area. We did pass a south boat launch, which was really nice. And then just a couple of like little pull-offs you can pull off and see the lake. Wow, this pavilion has a beautiful view. Nice. Alright, straight ahead here is the beach. Some kind of sandpipers. It's a nice beach. Nice little playground here for the kids. And restrooms. I think this is going to be our last stop here at Yellow Creek. So if you followed along to this point, thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to anyone new who is visiting the channel. And welcome back to my subscribers. I appreciate that. Thanks for following along. And I'll catch you next time.